Absolutely. Good afternoon. And if we did not welcome you before by name, if you have tagged someone and they come in, drop their name in the chat to make sure that we welcome them, that we let them know that they're welcome in this space. One of the things that one of Miss Cayenne's superpowers is creating safe spaces. And she does it in so many ways and she makes it look so effortless. It's easy for us to take those things for granted, but this is a safe space. It is a brave space. So you're coming to listen. You're going to hear some amazing writers talk about how the inkwell, their connection to the inkwell, and how writing has helped them. And one of the amazing writers who is not just, Lemonade Dream is not just anybody. We're going to officially introduce you momentarily, but I am Asha on Purpose. I'm one of your hosts today, and Lemonade Dream is your other. To me, she's this way. Am I pointing the right way, y'all? Let me know. Is that right? Oh, look at me being fancy. I use technology. That's right. She's sitting right next to me. Hey, girl. So, Lemonade, how are you? Are you excited to be here today? How do you feel about hosting?
I'm super excited. I haven't hosted before, so this is a new ball game for me. And yeah, I'm ready to get started.
Excellent. So one of the things about the Inkwell is not only does it inspire you to do something that you may do, right? A lot of the people who participate in the Inkwell and Inkwell programming may be familiar with writing, but one of the things you'll hear throughout the evening is that the Inkwell exposes people to new opportunities. And to be honest, you heard it straight from Lemonade Dream. She is an amazing poet. We're going to go through her bio shortly, but she also is embarking on a new journey, and the Inkwell, Miss Cayenne, had the wisdom to say, you know what, not only do we want to empower your pen, we also want to empower your voice. So she's going to be hosting with us this afternoon. So let me introduce you, because that's what we do at open mics, right? That's what we do at these kind of events. Lemonade Dream is a teen phenom. She's known for her thought-provoking poetry. At the age of 15, she has over 100 bodies of work. I know she's working on some books. She's working on a lot of things. She's actually going to be a host. You'll be seeing so much from her. She's very clear on who she's inspired by and what she's inspired to do at a young age. And not only is she connected to the Inkwell as a host, which you'll see today, but she's also participated in some of the workshops, right? So she's the real deal. She really knows what she's talking about. So I'm going to hand you the mic, let you kick this thing off. She is champion of, what is it called? Go-Go. That's right. The Art to Go-Go champ. That's when I was like, oh my goodness, how you're a champion at such a young age. She's doing amazing things, and I love to see it. Lemonade, let's get this show started right now.
All right. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity. And last but not least, I have me. A hero to the helpless. Advocacy, my power, my gift in the form of a voice and a pen. I speak to those who chose to leave the trauma under wraps never told. I let those stories be known. A voice for the voiceless. In my words, I say things possibly seen as bold. I tell the truth, not lying about life always being rainbows and butterflies. I know it's not, I won't lie. And for all you to say the scars, marks, silent screams at night, I'm here to tell a story. Not always my story, but a story that deserves to be heard. I can't see right through you, but when I write, know that I'm talking to you. I can't see you, but I know you're listening. I don't always be around, but I feel your eyes glistening. I told your story and you heard. Advocate and activist for those who couldn't speak those words. Of mass genocide, eating disorders, self-harm, harm from others, victim blaming. No, I see it all and I believe you. Some too scared to speak, mute, weak in the knees, PTSD, some speak it, God left to bleed. For those voices, my name is Lemonade. I don't always talk about the rainbows. My poem's only a puzzle piece to reach as much fever dream. When 365 days out of the year are a nightmare, it makes it hard to sleep. And fear those sad truths you see will come after you, keep you from peace. I'll say a happy peace when we got peace. Peace.
And you all will see, next up to the mic, thank you. Next up to the mic, we have Khalil Houston. And Khalil is amazing. I'll say Khalil is one of the, I'm going to go off, you all can see his bio on the screen. Let me see if I can get this view to to work right for me. But Khalil is a young artist who is, I mean, you do spoken word, you talk about tragedy and loss. I know Khalil has done some mentoring, heavily believes in education and educating. Right. So that is definitely something that you will hear. So this is not just going to be a performance. So you all sit back. This is not another performance. You just might, you might get taken to school, because one thing about the way Khalil writes as well is he talks a lot about healing. So Khalil, can you let us know, get started, we're going to get started, we're going to move on into the show. We definitely want you to hit us with some pieces, but we absolutely want to know, what has writing meant to you? What kicked off your pen, and how did you become the amazing artist that we're going to see? You absolutely want to follow him now. So if we don't, can you also let people know how to follow you, because that's going to be a question that everybody's going to have. So absolutely, let us know, how did you get started writing? What does writing mean to you? And then go ahead and blow this thing right on up. One of my favorite young artists to hear in the DMV.
You said, can anybody hear me? Audio
Yes.
good?
Yes.
So yeah, my name is Khalil, writer, poet, mentor, photographer. I do a lot of things. Writing, I want to say writing has meant, has given me a safe place to explore myself. I think one of those things is like, I started writing at the age of 10, and tragedy struck. I lost my oldest brother and my cousin to a triple homicide. And when tragedy hit the family, it was one of those things where the only thing I can really speak to was the pen and the pad. And that throughout middle school, throughout high school, it made me look at myself in a different light. It actually made me quote unquote a better person, because I was able to dissect my own emotions by constantly writing. And just, I wouldn't even call it poetry. It was just one of those things where I was just like, I just love writing. I was always good with words, but tragedy and trauma has a way of making you a fight or flight situation. So writing was my flight and fight. The point where I wanted to get away from something, but at the same time, I wanted to address some things within myself. Because as we all know, we come from certain communities where when trauma hits the family, a lot of times the kids get left behind. Nobody really checks in on the kids. So yeah, poetry has saved my life. It has made me a better man, a better community person, a better writer, a better all around, just a better individual. I've met some amazing people. I met y'all. I met Miss Cayenne, I met Asha. Like I met a lot of good people in this short term of like just being a writer. So yeah, I'm grateful, super grateful for this journey.
So. Amazing. Thank you for that. Writing saved my life. Whew. Yes. All right. Show them how. Go right into your piece. We're ready. If y'all are ready, snap up.
It's a piece. Anybody that know, this piece was inspired during the 2020 when everybody was on lockdown. And if I'm sure everybody knows a poet named by the O.B. West. It was the Who Am I challenge. And poetry for me is a big piece of my identity. It has made me understand my identity better. So this piece is called Who Am I? So who am I? I'm an earthquake, a tornado, a young man from Richmond, VA that shakes and flips things back together. I'm a natural miracle that washes away disasters, and my voice big a hurricane, a two-legged creature that runs seas with the tip of a pen. I'm an architect. Blueprint details of details. My structure is solidified from the laws of my childhood. I'm blessed that my scars didn't come from straight bullets. I'm blessed that my scars came from playing tag on the concrete. I'm a boy who pretends to be a man. A boy that loves the sight of his mother, but hates the sight of his own reflection. Regretting that the earth gave birth to my bones, but bones were never meant to be broken, but only meant to grow. I'm a case, not a case study. Not a statistic, not a but a young man with a Harlem Renaissance soul who prefers jazz over hip-hop. I'm the keys on Duke's piano, the strings on Charlie's guitar. I'm blues, I'm the product of Nina Simone, a southern trees, of strange fruit, a black body swinging in the southern breeze. I can't shake the smell of burning flesh, but my flesh makes the sun shine brighter on the reflection. Every star we pray to, Ashe. Amen. To the gospel at Sunday service, I'm the scriptures that they read every morning. The blood that's shedded in the name of freedom. I'm Martin's nightmare. I'm Malcolm's last speech. By any means, my actions are always affirmative. I'm David's appeal. My bondage was never supported by my God, but my God was given by my master. I'm a slave that picked up Nat Turner's sword. A black messiah they have always feared. The known and the forgotten. I'm the blood that keeps America alive. The untold story of black youth. I'm the reason that my father is proud to be a father. My life is the gift that keeps giving. Both college student and poet, I'm a walking contradiction. Prism of conviction, I have a right to live, so I write to live. I'm the one that sees everything and says nothing. I'm quiet. I'm patient. I'm present. I'm alive. Paul.
So one of the things that I love, thank you so much, Khalil, for gracing the stage. Thank you so much for showing us what using your pen for positive, because you dropped some things in there where you talk about even how there was alternatives. I could have been this, it could have been straight bullets, it could have been this, but I write. So that's exactly what this is about. We thank you so much for it. I got us. So Steph Marie is the founder of the Artists Network. She's a 5-time DMV Renaissance Award nominated poet, and that's not easy. That's not an easy thing to do. The DMV is DC, Maryland, and Virginia, right? So when you're nominated, not once, not twice, but 5 times, that means there's some things. And I've had the honor and the pleasure of hearing Steph Marie's artistry. She talks a lot about mental wholeness. I was trying to say health and wellness at the same time. I think I just made up a word, y'all. Let me know if I should keep it. But she talks a lot about mental health and mental wellness and about how writing is a tool. So I'm going to hand her the mic immediately because we do not want to miss that. We want to keep this show going. Steph Marie, welcome, welcome, welcome to Filling the Well. The mic is yours. Let us know how you started writing, what got you into writing, and then also let us know. You can go straight into your poem. So go ahead and make that introduction and you can go right on in.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this space. And so for me, writing helped me to find my voice. When I was young, I was mute. And I believe poetry has always been with me, but it just didn't necessarily know how to get out. I found my pen in high school. And when I found my pen, I was speaking life into myself. I started to empower myself through my words. There were times where I lost myself, especially when I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia in 2018. But it took me to go back to my poetry to remind myself of who I was. And there may be times in your life where you feel like you're lost. But when you're able to read your own words to encourage yourself, all of a sudden, you'll begin to have that faith. It's almost like you're affirming yourself and you're remembering this is who I really am. And so poetry has been a constant in my life. Outside of, my main constant is the Lord. But outside of the Lord, my pen has always been with me through depression, through mental illness, through abuse, just through it all. The one thing that I know that I had was my poetry. And so here we go. There's a type of spiritual attack when your faith stops beating. I'm speaking of the internal bleeding that comes from broken insides, where demons reside, trauma cries, and hope dies. Yet my pen found a way to stay alive. When seeking salvation, I've come to find writing is my life support. When I can't breathe, it speaks for me. Like a feeding tube, it supplies me. It fights for me. When I have no energy, where there is no rest from the confusion in my mind. When you'd rather be in the coffin than rest with the ugly sides. When you're fighting between the duality of shame and pride. When you can't look in the mirror because of the darkness inside. Here I am, picking up my pen instead of the knife of suicide. Here I am, refusing to run dry even if just the leak. Here I am, fighting on paper and pinning through what's weak. And now I see that bleeding out at times is my only lifeline to speak. And if bleeding is my only voice, know that it's louder than any trumpet could ever sound. It is deeper than any words that could ever form around. It is the cries from the pit of my soul that refuses to drown, from the curses of generations to the stronghold of now, from the secrets of my ancestors of yesterday to the skeletons in my closet that refuse to vacate today. This isn't just poetry. It is the sounding board that comes from the cries and the depth of my bones. It is the one and only place on earth I can always call home. It is the place I feel the most alive. It's the one place where my thoughts of suicide can't survive. And understand that as long as there is ink in my pen, there will always be hope for my salvation.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. 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 Sometimes you got to let it breathe. I know we're on a time schedule, but you put a lot in there. You talk about overcoming diagnosis, depression, suicidal thoughts, low self-esteem. I mean, I heard it all in there. And I mean, people can, it's easy for us to minimize that, right? For us to feel like the idea, the tagline of the Inkwell, there's power in the pen, right? And saving the world one pen and journal at a time. Like that's not a real thing, but it's a real thing. So imagine what would happen when young people are given opportunities to express themselves like you just did at a young age. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for your vulnerability. And then we're going to introduce none other than the Miss Kyan to really, really let us know why we're here. So go ahead, Lemonade. Let us know who coming up next.
So I have the honors of introducing Miss Kyan, the Miss Kyan, the most amazing Miss Kyan, the most sweetest Miss Kyan, the author, the performer, the safe space facilitator, who graduated from Morgan State University with a Bachelor of Science and Psychology. She continued her studies with a Master's of Social Work and a Social Work degree from Howard University. Oh my gosh, she's just really smart then. Ms. Kyan seeks to meld her profession and her passion to help others access healing, empowerment, and growth through the power of poetry. Okay, now she's also shown this with reflective writing and creative expression. As a result, in 2019, Miss Kyan, or Danasta, I don't know, I always just call her Miss Kyan, established the Inkwell, which is what we're here for, okay? And this is a nonprofit committed to facilitating increased healing, awareness, and self-love through creative writing programs, journal distribution, and community outreach. In her own words, poetry, my friend, my catharsis, my gift to the world. Miss Kyan, how are you doing today?
I am doing awesome. I'm enjoying this program in so many ways. And it's hard for me to keep up with enjoyment and also facilitating. So I'm so happy to see some of your faces, all of your faces actually, to be here. Thank you for that introduction. Thank you for the enthusiasm. Let me take a moment to say again, thank you to everyone who took the time out to join us this Sunday afternoon. As Asha mentioned, you could be doing any other thing, even if that was sleeping on the couch somewhere, because sometimes that's what we do, right? We prefer to do it, and you chose to kind of to plug in, and I appreciate that. As was read, I am Miss Adinista Thomas, affectionately and poetically known as Miss Cayenne, and I'm excited, but more so humbled by the opportunity to offer something, hopefully, to the world in the form of a safe space. And that is something that we've done through the Inkwell. Let me reiterate. Is my screen highlighted? Because I want to make sure they can see how to give. Okay, cool. Let me reiterate how to give, because it is a fundraiser. And then I'm going to talk more about what we're here for. You can do, I put it in the chat. We'll continue to repeatedly put it in the chat, but you can go to paypal.me/The Inkwell Heals. You can donate there. You can, if you have a separate phone, you can scan that QR code on the back of my screen there, or you can text the word GiveWell to 44321. Okay, now I thought about my presentation, how I'm gonna say it. Let me be prepared. Let me not shoot from the hip. And I thought partly it'd be better to share it through the medium of creativity than maybe for me just talking about it. So this co-constantly therapeutic outlet is something that I know oh too well. What I quickly learned was the Inkwell, while it is something that I've started in 2019, self-preservation. Involuntarily, my legs, it's not just something to do, it's something that's very personal, and my lungs. So allow me to read an excerpt. It's just a small component. It turns out I was my chapter in the book, my own body's The Ultimate Guide to Self-Healing, Volume 4. So this was a book I published a couple years ago by Laura DeFranco and her publishing company, Brave. I had no place to bleed. Brave Healer Productions. There was no appointments made with counselors because we don't talk about our business with strength. My chapter, which is called We Handle It at Home. There was no one to talk to at home because you just have to be strong. So there I sat on the closet floor, and there was no school next to my grandmother's hide in plastic bag over my head was a stranger, and we don't tell our business to strangers. I needed a new weapon. Something stronger than a plastic bag, something that complemented my will to live. This time, I picked up a pen. I began to journal. I painted pictures of my pain like Picasso with my words. I found a safe space to bleed in peace. Phrases written in cursive lay on pages like a patient sprawled across the therapist's couch. I was the patient, and my pen, the therapist. So creative writing, poetry, journaling, prose, it remains a very important part of my life, right? It's still something that I use to process. And now though, the difference now is that I'm sharing this healing hack. You ever go to TikTok and they have these different hacks, how to clean your tub, how to clean the stove? It's the healing hack, right? I'm sharing this healing hack with others, both young people and adults, in hopes to help save the world one journal and pen at a time. So part of how the Inkwell fulfills its mission is through writing programs. And so let me share with you a video. I can tell you how wonderful it is, but I am biased, but I can tell you, but I'm biased. I'll show it to you, right? I'll show you a little recap video. One of the ways we fulfill our mission is through writing programs, and in this case, it's a writing camp, which is what we're raising money for today. started to use writing as a wellness tool. Hope, healing, awareness, and self-love. We do that through programs that we can just now do the right thing, writing camps. We do that through journal distribution, journal collection and distribution. Our little slogan is saving the world one journal at a time. And we also do community outreach, helping to raise awareness around emotional wellness, using writing, whether that's journaling, creative writing, creative expression. All right, so we have 4 classes. They had different topics. The overarching theme of our 4-week session was, I was calling it conversations, specifically the words that we speak, whether outward to others, but really inwardly to ourselves. If you notice, we're in a circle. For the most part, we'll probably start every session in a circle. This is what I call the community circle. We're sharing the fact that we're in this writing class together. So we're creating our own community today. This is called Do the Right Thing, WRITE. Whoever has the talking stick has the floor. That means they're talking and the rest of us are giving them our attention and listening. Right? In a community, we're connected, we're together, and we want to hold space for you. Something, but writing will be the core of it. And not just any kind of writing, but writing that kind of gets you thinking, writing that makes you kind of go down a little deeper, and maybe writing that's creative that you wouldn't mind sharing in front of other people.
Still sound asleep. As I lie, I speak. A sound so unique. Sing a song. As soon as I stop, the memory is gone. In my dreams, a girl weeping. Her tears forever leaking. There is a sudden weeping. A monitor squeaking.
Neuroscience is teaching us that self-expression might be one, if not the most important ways for people to connect, navigate, and grow with each other.
Morals are like emotions. You can let them out free. Emotions are like your mind. They hold your thoughts and let them go.
Domestication isn't always straight. And never expect because I'm black it will always be engraved. Afro Suzuki for your liking. She wears her melanin loving shirt, the ones that explain the recipe of a black woman. She represents more than an angry black woman.
I am like one blue M&M in 1,000 different colors. I stand out. I don't look the same, just I'm different. I don't want to look like somebody else, but that's why I'm so different. You will see me first, you will see the other colors because I'm just different. But most of all, I am me, and I can't be no one else.
They hide behind a happy face. They jump around and find themselves praised. So please don't push them to fit into the space that you think they're supposed to fit. Realize that they too are trying to find out where they fit.
I am strong and powerful. I can be helpful. I will do my best. I am smart. I am brave. I am helpful. I am responsible. I have a powerful impact.
Whatever comes to mind, thoughts, feelings, or statements that come to mind, I want you to write them down. As you look at yourself in this mirror, what I noticed is what's a theme among many of the young ladies that were here during this time is that creativity and expression is vital. Why the inkwell? My grandmother was raising me, which old school home, and we didn't share our personal problems with everybody else. We didn't go to counselors, therapy persons. We didn't even talk too much to family members. You know, you just had to be strong and keep it going. I remember going back to school the weekend after the funeral. So we didn't do a whole lot of that kind of thing. And I needed an outlet. And my outlet I found ended up being my journal. My journal became the space where I could write whatever I wanted to write. I could be angry at God. I can cuss. I can say those things that maybe I would get my mouth popped if I did, aloud. I could feel what I felt without judgment. I could bleed in peace, and I could also heal in peace. And so, as I grew older, the journal and the writing and the poetry, it became a lifeline for me. It is a method, and for me, it is a testimony of a saving grace. And so, I later discovered that if it was beneficial to me in that way, as a young 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl, if it could save my life, then how much more could it possibly save someone else's? All right. So you kind of got a taste of what we're all about as far as it pertains to our writing camp. This was our inaugural writing camp for girls that you kind of saw recapped. And of course, I'm also talking about the Inkwell itself. Let me give you a little bit of information as it relates to our vision and our mission and what we believe in, and then talk a little bit more in detail about this writing camp, because I want you to be clear that your gifts are going towards the transformation of somebody's life. That's what it is. It's bigger than just, something to do my kids can do for a couple of hours on a Saturday. It literally, you heard from Khalil, you heard from Steph Marie, you're hearing from Asha and Lemonade Dream, who are all in some fashion connected to our work, but also have their own journeys and their own stories. And so just know that your gift, whatever it may be, it literally is contributing to the changing and the saving of a life. So let me give you some, for the sakes of those who are on the board won't be like, you didn't talk about the core of what you're doing. All right. So our vision is big, right? We want to save the world, provide the world with the gift of a safe space, right? Just simply the gift of a safe space and creative healing. It's a gift to have a place where you can safely be, happy, and where you can, without people judging that, where you can safely be broken for a moment, and you can heal in peace. It's a gift. And so that's what our vision is, to provide that to the world. Our mission, how do we do this? We're facilitating hope. We are hope drug dealers. We dealers of hope over here, right? And awareness and self-love. Let me bring some clarity to this. And any mental health practitioner here, we have just Sarah, we'll hear from in a second. Awareness, internal awareness, can catapult any one of us to a place of healing, of change, of transformation once we are aware. When we're blinded, when we're confused or uncertain, we don't know. We got to get to that place of awareness. When we write reflectively, it opens up this awareness of self that leads us to a place of healing, non-threateningly. No shots, no injections, no strap down and getting, brain surgery. It's a non-threatening approach to healing, right? And self-love. We talk about affirmations, and you heard today already someone talking about using their words. I think Steph Marie talked about using her words to remind herself of who she is. That's returning us to a place of self-love. Our girls, you saw that video. You may not recognize what it was, but they created affirmation statements, and they were able to create an affirmation deck. Each young lady received their own copy of a deck of cards that had affirmation statements that they wrote themselves, right? So it was custom created for them, by them, and that was returning them to a place of self-love. We do that through creative writing programs. And I just don't say poetry. I know I'm a poet and I know it. That's what my tagline to introduce myself, but it's creative and reflective writing that is meant to be reflective, which brings me to this point right quick. Don't forget, we're asking everyone, how has writing helped you? If you think about that, put it in the chat. Let us know, how has writing or in some fashion helped you? All right. We also do journal campaigns. We collect journals and we go to places in the community, schools, and we distribute those journals, but we try to educate community outreach on how writing reflectively can be a form of self-care, can be a form of healing and awareness and self-love as well. That's how we do what we do. We have some major beliefs. These are some major beliefs, and I stand really firmly in these things. One of them being, we believe in creativity, right? The ability to produce imaginative perspectives. Like when we get to be adults, we kind of lose that imaginative thing. And that's unfortunate, because it's in that imaginative perspective that we can generate healing, right? And we can be a force for someone else. We believe in the power of the pen as it is a healing force and creativity. Courage. We believe it takes courage to face our challenges. Sometimes, particularly with my adults, we get a little deeper and we talk, these writing prompts really force you to go a little deeper. And it takes courage to face our challenges, right? To face the grief and loss head on. to face the fact that I'm dealing with a mental health issue, to face the fact that there's a deep-seated loss of a triple homicide. You know, you heard our testimonials already, right? So to face it takes courage, but that same courage that you took to face it is the same courage that we can help use to liberate others. As I write my story and I share my story, I can help liberate myself and others. We believe in courage. We also believe in care. That the key to the effective self-care is the key to effective self-care, spirit, soul, and body, is having that safe space. Is having that safe space to take care of oneself, to emote and to create. We believe in these three. These are 3 major belief systems as it relates to the Inkwell. Let me see. I see some comments. Let me. I try to be mindful as well. If I'm missing some questions or anything like that, I'm sure somebody will let me know. And I wanted to reiterate, so the writing camp that we're raising money for is going to start in October, right? October for the next 5 weeks, October, the first Saturday in October, October 5th, I believe, is the first Saturday, through November the 2nd. It's 5 weeks. For 5 weeks, we're having 2-hour sessions that consist of creative writing and visual artists or visual art prompts. They're all based on a theme. Last year, our theme was conversations. What is the conversation you're having in your own mind within yourself? Because conversations consist of words, and this is what we're talking about, writing, right? And when we talk about conversations, this was the theme last year, we were helping our young participants to realize that they had the power in their pen and in their own voice to speak life to themselves, because words are like seeds planted in the soil of your heart, and whatever you're watering in the soil of your heart grows into thoughts into your mind, and those thoughts in your mind begin to exhibit the behaviors that you put out to it in the universe. But if you understand that the seeds I'm planting, I decide the seeds is going to be planted here, I can speak with my words, written and verbal, the seeds that I would want to be planted, that I want to grow, that I want to exhibit. So we were talking about conversations, right? Every series has a theme. They build on each other. And so it's ideal that the participants will register and be a part of the entire time, not just 1 or 2 sessions, because they build on each other. It creates a cohort, a camaraderie, and a safe space. When people keep changing, coming in and going, we can't be as safe, because we all know, can I trust them? So we want the people to come register for the whole time. The sessions build on each other. It's thematically organized, and they are engaging in various types of writing prompts, visual art prompts, arts and craft prompts. There are various facilitators, guest facilitators, who are professional. These ain't no fly-by-night folks here. When I say they do what they do professionally. So they're guest facilitators. We had Asha on Purpose last year, who is, we'll learn more about her later on too. She is a inspirational speaker. She has been writing and performing for several years. She is an author. Her nonprofit also works with girls specifically in mentorship. So again, our guest facilitators are not fly-by-nights. We had an art instructor, you'll hear from her today as well, who was co-facilitating to make sure that our projects are properly instructed. Participants build confidence. It's not just a fun thing to do. We're building confidence. We're enhancing reading skills, enhancing writing skills. This is an educational thing too, you know, social, emotional, and educational care. Writing skills, reading skills, building confidence, because then they're also sharing publicly among their peers and among family and friends in the culminating event, encouraging them to share with others so it gives them voice, right? When I first started writing, it was just for me. No one knew what I wrote in there, so me and God. And at some point it became an obligation, and it's not for everybody. I'm not saying it's for everybody. At some point it became an obligation to share, because what I was experiencing needed to be shared with someone else as well. So they're also learning how to share their voice. And then like I said, each session builds upon each other. There is a culminating event where they get to share and showcase and show off what they have learned, what they've done, their artwork, their poetry, their short stories. These ladies did it up. They had short stories from mystery, murder. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, mystery, romance. They had poems about themselves and their self-identity. They wrote affirmations and created an affirmation deck. They had custom-made journals. I mean, it was very robust. right? And when they walked away, I've heard many of them talk about how they walked away with the aha moment, the self-care, the personal encouragement and confidence. All right. So we have a goal of $2,000 that we want to raise. We got a little ways to get there, but we definitely want to get a good jump start because we're about to open up our registration for the writing camp in October. Tomorrow, registration begins. And we are raising funds so that we really don't want to have any financial barriers to any of the young people that want to participate. Okay, so this is why we're doing it. We're trying to eliminate barriers where a young person really could benefit from something of this nature. Okay, so we have a $2,000 goal, but it'd be great if by the end of the night we can at least hit the $1,000 mark. Okay, we already have started this thing, and I haven't even checked. I've been so engrossed in everything that's been going on the screen. I forgot my other task of checking the other screen, but I'll keep you updated as the night goes on. We've gotten a good start. Let's keep it going. Let me give you some information about that though. Let me tell you something, because you may say, well, my God, times is rough, and they are rough. I'm with you. Times are rough. But listen, let me tell you something. A gift of $200 could literally sponsor a youth for the whole 5 weeks. Okay. A gift of $80 could sponsor. They also have down payment options, right? So if they're not going to pay it all up front, then they can pay $80 as a down payment for the first couple sessions and then pay later. That can sponsor the down payment for someone. All right. If indeed, for example, you would like to say, oh, I don't know, have that, but $25 could help with snacks, because we are providing food, both fun and comfort foods, right? We try to have some healthy stuff as well as some chips and stuff, so you can provide snacks, $25 gift, right? $50 supplies. You saw them painting. There's paint, there's canvases, there's brushes. We have manipulatives when we do our workshops. It could help provide those things. A gift of $100 could help sponsor a guest facilitator. They're doing it charitably, so that's a charitable honorarium, but that could sponsor a guest facilitator. Your gift of $15 literally can help with making sure that there are journals, because every young lady gets a journal, plus they get a custom made journal. So they're going to get 2 journals. $15 donation, make sure that they all get a journal, right? So nothing is too small, but I wanted to give you an idea of what some specifics could actually provide. And again, you can do that by texting the word "give well," one word, to 44321. That should be in the chat. It's on my screen when I come back to the screen. Or you can go to PayPal, and that'll be on my screen in a second. That's also in the chat. If none of those ways are something you can do because you don't do digital or whatever, just directly message me and we'll make sure to provide another way for you to give. We don't want a barrier to you to give either. Don't let that be a barrier, okay? We are in the age of technology, so we got to make it technologically convenient, but we also are able to pivot, all right? Let me see if we have any questions in the comments before I go further. Let's see. In the chat, I said in the comments. Depending on what platform I'm on, it's comments. What happened to my Okay, here we go. Any questions or about what I said? I was trying to move quickly because I get caught up, I get so passionate. But any questions about anything that I mentioned? Let me see. Okay. What made you feel that you should share what was in your journal to help? Oh, excellent question. That's a good question. I think it may have happened by accident. I don't think I really should. Now, journaling, the poetry, for me, they can be one and the same. Sometimes when I'm journaling, it turns into a poem. I don't mean it to. That's just how I kind of process. But sometimes journaling is just that. It's prose. It's just free write. It's just free flow. And that I ain't sharing. Okay. But there was an accident. Or I think not accident, but I wasn't really intending to. I think I may have shared a poem with someone one day. I let them, hey, I wrote this poem, kind of like a sidebar thing. And their response was one that said, man, not that, oh, that was good, I like the way you wrote that. It wasn't that. It was, I feel the same way. That's what the response was. right? And this is a sidebar. I want to say this to you, whoever is listening. I don't know who needs to hear this, is that we often feel so alone. We often feel like no one else is experiencing these feelings and these thoughts. But when I shared that poem with that person and their response was, you articulated exactly what I feel. Guess what? There was a moment of healing in that moment. Why? Because now I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. Right? And so then that progressed into, well, maybe I can share it with somebody and they can also find find help. I don't know. And I was young, so I don't know how you're going to find the help, but you get some help from me sharing. And as time goes on, you learn better how it can be helpful, because what's happening is you're healing. And now you're sharing from a healed place versus a broken place. But that's a whole different conversation. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for the donation. Thank you for the question too. All right. Let's get it started. Please keep it moving. Keep your giving. Again, don't feel like anything is too small. And we're going to be continuing the donation process for the next 4 weeks or so after this. But please know that nothing is too small and nothing is unappreciated. I'm trying to, what time is it? Okay, 4:07. Let me do this. I do want to do this, Asha and Lemonade, because it's kind of impromptu, but we were trying to play with the time. And I have on the Zoom today 3 other young ladies who participated in this program. You saw them on the screen. They were reading, they were painting, they were, being the creatives that they are. They had a wonderful blast, birthday weekend, family visit, and just could not really navigate both being part of the reading part as well as being part of the family. But I want to highlight them. So I have in the Zoom room Nazira, Naila, and Naima. Let's see. I think they're together, right? Let's see if we can highlight them. You may need to help me with this one, Asha. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. There we go. Hey, ladies. Let me see. Let me ask you to unmute. And let's see if they can, or can I do it? Let's see.
Mute.
There you go. Hey, how you doing?
Good. Hi, we're good.
Good. Hi. Y'all look like y'all got older just from a year ago. Did y'all get older? Everybody has some birthdays or something?
Yes.
You're looking good, ladies. Listen, I wanted to let the people see your beautiful faces. These were young ladies these are sisters. They're friends and they're actually blood sisters, and they came to the writing program. Can somebody share with us just a little bit of your experience being with the Do the Right Thing writing program for girls last year? What were some of your experiences? What did you like about it? You can tell us what you didn't like, but don't spend too much time on that part.
I liked how, it let us express our emotions and just kind of write, whatever we wanted. I know there was a time in the program that you were talking about where we wrote a story. Like it was every tables wrote a story together, and like I know their table was talking about murder or something, and it was just a fun time because we were able to talk about we were able to create the stories we wanted and express our emotions. And I remember, we had a prompt at the beginning of the day that we could answer, and that was kind of fun. Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed the program.
I like the activities that we got to do, like the one she said where we got to add on to each other's stories. That was probably one of my favorites because the story turned around really quickly and it was hilarious. And I just liked all the activities. The way we were able to write about things, the painting part, it was fun.
Awesome. Thank you. How about you, ma'am?
I like doing your painting. I think that's the best part for me.
Writing was nice. I just like coming there every morning and like having fun, just sharing our experiences, everything. I just thought it was just a very experience overall.
Awesome. Listen, let me tell you how we enjoyed you. I spoke and we debriefed with the co-facilitators, and we just would talk, oh my gosh, you see how creative she was with her painting. Oh my gosh, Naima, she was just so profound. And Naila, she can write a, I mean, we're just talking about all of the different young ladies in the space and how wonderfully creative you are. And while we were hoping to give to you, I want you to know that you guys gave to us. Right? You were able to teach us and show us things too. So I just wanted to highlight you and shout you out. I'm so happy to see your faces today. I haven't seen you almost in a year. And so it's good to see your faces. And I want to say thank you for participating and coming. You know, young, you know, I know adults can be annoying. But if I be honest, sometimes teenagers and young we don't know what we're doing. So, but you guys came with such pleasant faces and attitudes. So we're so happy that you were able to be a part. We're hoping to see you in the future. And thank you for spending time with us today to kind of give us your feedback as well.
Thank you. Thank you for opening up the program to us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Awesome sauce. All right. Thank you for that time. All right, so what we got going on next? Oh, it's still me. It's still me. All right, so I'm going to introduce for you our next guest. She is a guest who I know personally. I've spent time with her in other settings as a friend, as a co-creative, and she's also even served as a founding member of the board, founding board member for the Inkwell. She has, since moved on and is doing other things, but she's very dear and special. And I'd love to introduce this person to Sarah Glover Doolin, who actually is going to share a testimonial. She's a mental health practitioner and a creative, right?
And God said, "Let there be," and there was. The power of the spoken and verbal word that not only creates, but it facilitates healing in so many ways. And so I'm here today. Once again, thank you, Dynasta. I know her as Dynasta, Miss Cayenne. She's evolved. She has such a way of pulling me into situations, and I just love it. This has always been from day one. And I just love her for it. As she indicated, I am one of the founding board members of the Inkwell, and I believe so much in this vision and in the mission and in the work that she has begun, her along with her team. So I just kind of want to share what my experience has been. I often say that I am, and I started off with, and God said, "Let there be," and there was, because I connect to that so much. I am a creator. Even more than a writer, I was born to create. And writing for me has become a tool by which I utilize that, not only to facilitate healing, but to produce sound. So the good thing about writing and about spoken word is that it releases a sound, and it releases your sound that vibrates throughout the world, that gives you a platform to be able to impact the world. And so I am so elated. My experience with writing began at 8 years old, and I was writing a sermon. So it wasn't poetry for me. I wanted to take a text. But the thing about it was, in my writing, because I don't necessarily consider myself a poet. I get inspiration. I'm inspired in moments, but I'm definitely a writer. But in this sermon, it really was an opportunity for me to connect with who I believe God had called me to be. God said early on in my life that I was a voice, and that I just needed to be open to utilize my voice however God saw fit. And so, I spent years as a performing artist, singing and acting, and I'll talk a little bit about how this became a portal for me in mental health. I know that sometimes we minimize the impact of writing and journaling in particular. I know when I'm in a space working with clients, one of the things they hate to do is write. But let me just give you some context here from a cognitive and a research perspective. When you write, you're able to put space and kind of dump those mental intrusive thoughts, get them onto paper so you can begin to see and become aware of where you are so that you can begin to really heal. So it's a good thing cognitively to put your thoughts onto paper because it allows you to breathe. And to get insight. So anyway, as a performing artist, one of the things that I noticed performing was that it became very therapeutic and cathartic for me. And people were able to feel that. Remember I said about sound. People were able to feel through the words that I spoke through a script, an acting a part, or through song. They began to connect with it, so much so that what I presented was offering healing. That intrigued me so much so that I left the stage after 13 years of traveling the world and performing to become a mental health therapist, because I understood how writing could open us up to really healing and open us up to working through trauma. So from a clinical perspective, I love this. And I say to even go a step further as it pertains to really intense trauma, that having a mental health professional in your space and in your life is so essential, because some things is a little difficult to dig up alone. You need the support. Okay, so it's very important that we get that support. I also have learned how to use writing as a spiritual compass. It is my connection to not only the divine, but my connection to my own divinity and my own power. So now me writing has become my authority. It is my voice. It is the power by which I execute. This hasn't always been the case. But now I really, really understand that writing is not just something that I take lightly, but once again, it is something that I use to facilitate empowerment in my own life. This is the first time that I have shared this story publicly. And like I said, only Miss Cayenne can pull me into this space. But I'm here for it because I believe wholeheartedly that my voice, even now, as you're hearing my words, that is falling on ground that will impact your life for a lifetime. I believe that wholeheartedly. In 2014, I was dealing with intense depression. I didn't tell anybody because people often perceive me, and I often present as the strong one. And sometimes I don't say what's going on. But 10 years ago, and I had gotten my degree and was moving on and trying to navigate life, and I became very, very much so overwhelmed with depression and even suicidal thoughts. The first time ever in my life that I thought about taking my life. As a youth, I'd always dealt with depression and rejection because I was different. I was always different. But it was something about in 2014 that I just could not seem to get over the hump. Here it is, I'm studying mental health. Here it is, I'm getting ready to become a therapist. And I just could not get over the hump. And what I did was I began to write even more so. I have tons of journals. But this particular day, I began to write and began to release my soul. And as I began to release my soul, I began to feel the spirit and the energy of depression lift from me. And so that's the piece that I want to share today, if that's okay. And I hope I've done this justice, Miss Cayenne. I'm not, once again, a poet, so you won't get all the nuanced cadence with me, but I will say this. I know that I'm a writer, and I do believe in the power of utilizing your voice. If you don't hear anything else from me today, know that just by writing, by speaking, it can take you into places that you could never even imagine, and allow you to impact people in a way that you would never even imagine. And so my impact now transcends just my own personal healing. So now I become the healer. So I want to share a piece from 2014, and it's been a minute since I pulled it out. So if I get a little emotional, just bear with me. But it says, Lady Liberty is the title of it. Shackles of the worst kind, self-induced and confined. Bondage like no other, like none known to man. Bondage bundled together, tied by my bare hands. Seeking for truth outside just to find the key to my truth is unlocked when I forgive and release me from the bind, the tie, things reminiscent of a failed past and mismarks of all kinds. Shh, be quiet, be silent, stop. Your voice must be silenced. Freedom lurks at the door, waiting to explore the endless possibilities of pursuing a new life, adorned with vivid colors, shackle-free. Today is my day. Welcome, liberty. Not just a colossal statue of stone and beauty, rather a visual depiction of my new reality. Surrounded by the voice of my ancestral past, free at last, free at last. This lady, no longer a mystery, resides in me for all to see. Thank you.
Lemonade, what are your thoughts about what you just heard?
I think it's very important that we have Miss Catrice, I believe that is how you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm right, but Miss Catrice said she sent in a flower, and that's what you deserve, because it is so important that people know that what they're writing has a purpose, what they're writing is really important, because somebody can say something and it goes right over your head, but then you've got other people say something and it goes to your heart. And I want other people to know that these outlets, this pen, hold on, let me get a pen and paper. The pen, the paper, they're very important. Whether it's your phone, whether it's any type of way you're getting it out that is healthy, like writing, is so important, because the things you say mean way more than you could even think it does. And I'm happy that Miss Sarah knows that what she's saying really has a powerful impact. And I want everybody here to know that what you say has a powerful impact. That is so important.
Absolutely. Lemonade, you hit the nail on the head. I was responding, and then I think my screen went out for a moment. But I think that that's a powerful conversation, even just thinking about you and Miss Jacera having the conversation directly. How many young people do you know that have access to a creative outlet, a professional mental wellness outlet, and then a safe space for them to create and emote simultaneously? And that's what's being created by the Inkwell. It's not any of those three, right? They can go to an open mic and maybe get a space where they can create. I was introduced to writing. My teacher gave me a journal, but it was separate and isolated from anything else. I didn't have anything in my life that did all three. I didn't have the wisdom I didn't know that I could connect my mental wellness, my journaling, and the ability for me to also express and use my voice together. Those were three separate things. And the fact that young people are getting that, even listening to the young ladies talk during the break, was absolutely powerful. Miss Cayenne, thank you for that impromptu, because it does our soul some good. It's one thing for us to see them in the in a video, right? But when you got the real deal here, it's powerful, which is also why I think it was absolutely brilliant to add the mental mental health professional to the conversation. And absolutely hearing poet. Drop in the chat. I know she said she wasn't a poet, but yes, you are. So we'll correct that because words are powerful. You are a poet because there's no wrong way to do poetry in your piece. Poetry is supposed to move you. It makes you feel something. It's somebody being intentional with your words. So we're going to correct those words. You are absolutely an amazing poet. You owned the space and you brought us to a place where we know exactly what was necessary. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. I just wanted to add one thing before I move on. I wanted to say this: writing is not only my legacy, but it's your legacy. I think sometimes we forget that as a people of color, as Black people, as brown people, oral tradition and written tradition, when you put your thoughts onto paper and you begin to articulate, those words become your legacy. So let the words be not only a representative of who you are, but know that's leaving a legacy for you and your family, and for when you're gone and transition to the other side, that you'll still be speaking on the other side.
That part.
That was beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Let's go ahead and introduce and talk a little bit about what you experienced during camp as a participant and what that feels like as well.
All right. Janique McElveen provides artistic outlets for the community as an art instructor. She currently provides instruction at Bladensburg Community Center, Kentland Community Center, and the Inkwell. She proudly serves as an advisory board member to the Inkwell, where she assists with forging community relationships and expanding programming to include arts and crafts. So, with that, I remember when we were at the camp last year, and I was learning more about art, and I remember looking at the paper at the canvas. I'm like, I hate when I have to do like paintings and stuff because I don't always feel like that's my field. I feel like that's not really where I do well at. But then I just took a second and I was like, you know what? It's going home with me. It doesn't matter if it looks good or if it doesn't. And I feel like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if I think it looks beautiful, I think it looks beautiful. If somebody says it looks crazy, it might just look crazy. But I'm happy that I took a second to paint that. I'm happy that I was allowed the canvas, the paint, the paintbrush, was allowed to be creative in that moment. And with that activity, I do remember that it was like you added in different like affirmations and different things to just say, hey, this is what we are. So like I could have like, I don't remember who it was, but it was one of my cousins had like, I am beautiful or something like that right through like the eyes of like their character or the person that they were drawing. And I think that's very important that the way that you guys added affirmations with painting, because sometimes you're just like doing it and sometimes you're like, hey, I want to make sure that I am also showing what I am, what I feel, who I am. And that is so important, just to know who you are. And it was a beautiful event, beautiful program, and I can't wait for another camp to be happening this year. Okay, so make sure you guys do donate so that more people, more children, more youth can see what amazing work Miss Tyann is doing, so that they can go, they leave the camp and they're like, hey, do you know how great this was? And then it keeps on going. And then now we have more people not going to the streets, but we have more people going to the pen, which is beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, Janique, the mic is yours. Let us know how writing inspired you. Feel free to talk about your experience with camp a little as well, and then go ahead into your piece. We're excited to have you. Thank you.
Oh, yes. I learned a lot from you all as well. Like, you all inspired me to want to do better in presenting myself or in my writings and in my expression and self-expression and sisterhood. That was a beautiful camp experience. I walked away just like flying high with excitement as well. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of that, Miss Cayenne. Wait, I think I got your name, Dynasta. Okay, thank you. I just had to put that in there because, I practice sometimes. And so for writing for me, I had shared with Miss Cayenne earlier, before, numerous times probably, that my sisters and I, we lost our father in 2010. And one of the ways to get through our grieving, my sister actually took her daughter, who was at the time of my father's prostate cancer journey. He became really close with her daughter. So that was the granddaughter he became really close with. So when he passed away, my sister and my niece would just drive around and get lost. And she would literally just let Kaylin, that's her name, just tell her, turn here, mommy, left here, up there, make a U-turn, wherever, just go anywhere, just anywhere until she felt comfortable enough to stop, no matter where it was. And they would get out and they would take photographs, because my sister's a photographer. She's a photography-based artist now, but this is the book that was created. So when you were talking about 2014, the books were published in 2014. And in 2014, I actually started attending spoken word open mics. So that was like my liberty moment in 2014, our liberty moment in 2014. So I really connected with you when you said that. And so this is the second book, is The Very Awesome Adventures of Ruru and Rudy. And like I said, my father became really close with my niece. And so Ruru is the nickname that he gave her, and Rudy is his nickname. So it's about a magical reindeer and their one night adventure together. So now I'm going to read a piece that I don't remember writing. This is going to be my second time reading it out loud. And it's about my father. And the last time I read it was last year. So, here we go. The last time. Of all the days we've spent together, the giggling, races, adventures to new and exciting places, our talks about the future and things of the past, many fun and crazy rainy nights running down the sidewalk in the middle of the street, disagreements that seem to get healed like the burning of a bonfire. That seem to get heated like the burning of a bonfire. No matter how long it lasted or deep the difference, points of views were shaped, we always returned to the acceptance of our own individuality. Learning new things from our open minds, productive encouragements, supportive nature, and family bonding strength. Of all the days we've spent together, the giggles, races, adventures to new and exciting places, our talks about the future and things of the past, long walks that lasted till our conversations were done, softball games, basketball screams, or football cheering from the sideline, or sitting together on the living room sofa, Bible study, church service, television evangelists preaching the word to us as one, riddles, jokes, plays, skits, Pictionary, singing, dancing, watching movies, playing cards, or charades with other folk. Of all the days we've spent together, the giggles, races, adventures to exciting places, our talks about the future and things of the past. The day I will remember forever. The last time we were all together, December 20th, 2010. The last time you said, I love you, Daddy. Thank you.
I want to hug you. Everybody, arms out. Come on, group hug, bring it in, because there we go. I want to see those arms. Come on, some love. Drop some love in the chat. It is a very brave thing to share grief, right? So thank you for your courage. Thank you for that. I think that your piece tied in so many things that we've been talking about today. We just talked about legacy, right? And sometimes we're not just writing our own legacy. Sometimes we're writing our loved ones' legacies too, because I feel like I met your father. So thank you for introducing us to him. Thank you for bringing him into the space. What's his name?
James.
Thank you, Mr. James, for your presence. Thank you for sharing Janique with us. We say your name. We honor you, because we do understand that writing doesn't just, sometimes it feels like we're writing our pain into perpetuity, but sometimes we're writing them into perpetuity, right? We're writing them into a space where they're always with us. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your vulnerability. That is not easy. That is not easy. So did you feel the hugs and the love?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for not, a lot of the time people have a tendency to catch themselves when they do that, but sometimes the vulnerability might be just what somebody needs. It might be exactly what somebody needs. So thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Sister Joy says in the comments, so much love, Janique. That was only the last time on this plane. Empowering you with love from above, my sister. Thank you for demonstrating true love and true courage.
Thank you. That was Sister Joy.
Yes, Sister Joy.
Thank you. I love you.
Absolutely. Well, that's what this space is about. That's what today is about and has been about. It's about sharing the love, sharing the inspiration. We heard from the artists what brought them to writing, what brought them to poetry, how they've been inspired. I've definitely been inspired. Each and every artist has been amazing. I think that this has just been such a phenomenal day. And don't forget, there's still time to give, because getting journals and pens in the hands of young people, a lot of us are adults and we're saying these things, but having the ability to do this at a young age is what we're talking about. Yes, healing people before they need it. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely. Lemonade. Yes, I'm going to pass the mic on to you.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to say one more time, thank you so much to Ms. Janique for allowing us, your heart, for a second, to open that up to us and allowing us that space. That's very important, because like I said, it is not easy. And next up, we have Asha on Purpose. Miss Asha, hi. I'm so excited. Okay. I just wanted to say she is an amazing person. I've been able to meet her, and I've already met her, but I really got to meet her through practicing this virtual meeting. And Miss Asha is also formerly known as Purple Rain. She is a spoken word artist. She's a spoken word artist, author, 4-time author, by the way. It's not easy to just publish one book, but she did it 4 times. She's a speaker, and as I said, she's a poet, mentor, and purpose doula. She is also just an amazing person as well. Did we already mention that? She's a breast cancer thriver, which is very important, who has also overcome profound grief and depression. Overcome, okay? Let's make that be known that she's overcame these things, okay? which is very hard to do. These experiences drive her passion for sharing her story and empowering others through her artistry, workshops, and coaching. And she is a workshop facilitator, children's book author, by the way, and teaching artist. And guess what she is about to do? She will be next up on the mic. So I'm going to give it to her.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I definitely am honored for the opportunity to share a piece. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I think my favorite part of that when you said I'm a wonderful person. It is something, there's something about young people telling you that that they like you and that they're inspired, and you inspire me as well. So thank you. I'm going to do a quick piece and then we're going to open it up and move into the open mic. So while we're doing this, I want you to do two things. I'm going to use some of my time to do all our plugs. I'm going to drop in the chat again how to give. The show is not over. And so please continue to give. You can pull up Miss Cayenne's screen as well and use the QR code and give, because one of the things, the question was, how did writing impact you? And so when I was younger, I tried to take my life. It's the one thing I am proud of. And interestingly enough, I have a piece about that and I just couldn't locate it. I was trying to practice it throughout the week. And so interestingly enough, when I thought about why I couldn't find the piece, it's because I'm in a different stage in my life now. I'm in a healing phase, and what I've had the pleasure and the honor of ringing the bell to finish radiation as I have already beat breast cancer. It's my second last battle. I'll never face it again. And so in the process of we're thinking about healing and grieving and those type of things, I was going to do a piece about grief originally, and then this piece I actually had the opportunity to write a couple weeks ago, and it's called I Am Art. I was teaching a camp while I was going through radiation. We took some young people to an art gallery and gave them the ability to write. And so while they were writing, I was inspired to write along with them. And this piece came out, and it was really important to me to also share. We want to make sure that we highlight. I know a lot of the times we hear these programs and we see things, and it reminds us that people can grieve through the pen. But sometimes the healing part is also something positive. Sometimes it's the affirmations as well. It may not always be writing about sadness. Sometimes I know for me, when I can write something positive about something that impacted me negatively, it lets me know that I have healed. So I wanted to make sure that I threw that into, added that as a part of the program. Not only are the young people being inspired to write about maybe things that are hurting them or things that they're uncomfortable with, things that are negative, but sometimes memorializing something that you've accomplished and gone through is also what you need in order to move to the next step, because you may need that inspiration at another part in your life. So this piece is called I Am Art, and then we're going to move into the open mic. So drop mic in the chat if you would also like to get on the mic as well, and I'm going to do my piece. I am art. I am modern and classic, splattered in hues of purple. My melanin is still often misunderstood and misinterpreted. Although it is the original medium of all human art forms, locks scream the story of my resilience and resistance to needing to fit in and be accepted. My eyelids encapsulated in glass because they are both fragile and valuable. The flare of my nostrils and shape of my nose is a reminder that I'm Richard and Brenda's legacy, product, and protege. My lips are the gateway to and through my imagination, conductors of my faith, allergic to fear, and a few other things. And that's just my face. My body, my body is indigenous war art, sculpted by master craftsmen who left signatures in the forms of scars that tell the battles I have fought and won. You can tell by the pieces they've taken, altered, and left behind how sturdy this is. But nothing is broken, only evolved. My stomach is a gallery called Ode to My Children, filled with markings of motherhood, and the curvature of my hips and thighs are sculpted from 45 years of life and lessons. My legs show that my childhood was lit, full of hieroglyphics from the big wheel pedals and bike races, first places, fights and successful and unsuccessful scaling of oak trees in Oak Park, Illinois. My feet are memorials to first and second places in 100-meter dashes and relays. My favorite part is shoeless walks that I now know are a meditative art form within themselves called grounding. I see art everywhere, all around me, in me, on me, and from me, and through me. I am not just an artist. I am art.
Yes! That I am art, okay? Love that. Okay, I am art. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Let me come to this screen too. I got to get in on this.
Yeah, and honestly, interestingly enough, I think that piece was almost more difficult for me to write than some of my other grieving pieces because I'm still going through it. And I've, breast cancer awareness come with some scars, and I had to learn to love them. And one of the tools was my journal. It wasn't always what I saw in the mirror. It was what I was writing down. I had to tell myself these things and reword things and rework things so that my mind would feel that. So thank you for allowing me to share it. I haven't had a chance to get to an open mic to share because I've been every evening for the last 27 weeks. I've been in radiation, so I'm missing open mic. But now this is my first opportunity to share that, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Inkwell, for the space.
Oh my gosh, my cheeks hurt from smiling, and my ducts are fighting, shivering, holding tears back. So I got two things going on in my face right now at the same time. And I thoroughly thank you, Asha, for sharing this. The chat is lit up. I just got to share a few of them. Lemonade, you can join me. My favorite part is shoeless walks, says Janique. What else we got?
Nothing is broken, only evolved. Okay.
Yes, okay. Kelly says, snap, 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 snap. Okay, that's what she said in the comment. That's why I read it. There's a message from Mama Shanzira, who I also want to shout out real quick. This, our parents are very important to what the Inkwell does. One of the things I discussed with the board when we were talking about our audience and who we wanted to really, really, really target, we do work with adults as well, but who we have a heart and passion for. And one of the would-be difficulties was that a young person is dependent on someone else to bring them to an event, to follow up with them or whatever. So sometimes it can be a little challenging, not in a bad, it's just a challenge, because you're dealing with a couple people. But I want to say it's the parents that make the show rock and roll, because they're bringing their children, or they're making sure the young person is connected, or they're encouraging the gifts that's within them. My mother did that for me. She encouraged the gift that was within me. She encouraged those things. And so you don't have to have a lot of money to do that. Just encouragement's there. So I want to shout out one of our parents, Mama Shanzira, who is the mother of Naila, Nazira, and Naima. She says, so grateful for sun-kissed mamas, sisters, and our blossoming flowers to be gifted a sacred place to shed and to share. How profound indeed. She gives thanks for the Inkwell.
Because the mic is so important, as you guys saw today. The pen is so important, as you guys saw today. And just a couple lines, just a couple anything can change a life, save a life. So,
but writing is what we're talking about. So whatever you would like to share, we're going to ask Naila to go first. Is Naila still here?
Okay. Shadows by Naila Shode. Shadows hunt at night. Shadows hunt at night who have heaviness in their hearts, because they know they can make us cower even if we try to escape. I take one step away from my shadow. It takes 3 steps ahead. I lunge and fight and kick and scream away. My shadow continues to laugh and grasps tighter. To my hand, to my foot, to my mind. The shadow is taking over my whole reality, becoming the host of my body. So much to the point where I can't control it. I become the imposter in my body that refuses to leave.
Snap, snap, snap.
It's called Life Path. I will stay in my lane, the one that bore me up from the guttered, stench-ridden dark. the one that rankled a zigzag path when my name howled through the streets, unnamed, furnished with the vacancies of a cluttered ghetto of my enemies, the one that led me to a dead-end post and taught me how to forage off-road, how to build a stone-faced house on sand, silt, clay, the one that taught me even cracked foundations can hold a home. I love you, sisters. Keep writing. It gave me a place to put my thoughts so that no one could ever tell me that my thoughts were never important, nor my emotions. So thank you, and I'm listening to everybody.
But what I want to say is that she is a member of the board of the Inkwell, and I'm so happy that she could join us today. So go ahead, Sister Joy, take it away.
Thank you, Ms. Cayenne, and thank you all my lovely sisters on this Zoom today. Oh my God. I'm going to just do the piece. It's called Against All Odds. Against all odds, yours is a bright tomorrow. Despite promises denied, trials and travesties barely survive, the sun still shines within you. Even though clouds loomed large on yesterday's horizons and still shadow some of your todays, rainbows await your love and beckon you to their brightness beyond yesterday's seemingly endless pain. Dust will rise from your stride. Know that strength grows inside those willing to claim it. Step sure-footed and strong into your revived, but not denied destiny. Victory has waited long to hand you her keys, asking only that you remain true to the history and power handed you. So, step into your tomorrow. Embrace and honor this new thing you have prayed for. Ways have been made, not merely for you to survive, but to thrive. Walk strong along this path that honors also those who already traveled this path, this trail, and understand that many will follow you. Your every step connects them to strength, to power, to victory. Celebrate and grow. Celebrate and know. This new day is yours.
Wow.
Affirmation for each of you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
To our hosts, our hosts, plural, Asha on Purpose and Lemonade Dream. These young ladies work this. If y'all enjoyed the host, shoot, doggone it, put some hearts in the comments, or put some yeses in the comments if you enjoyed the host today. They kept me engaged. So much so I gotta do this, I gotta look at something else, but they kept me engaged, and I'm thankful for our hosts. If you enjoyed them, put a yes in the comments, or if you can do your emojis, put a heart in the comments. Thank you so much. These ladies, I want you to know, everything that you see, this 2 hours took days, weeks to prepare. And they've given their time, right? So they were working together outside of today. They didn't just come on at 2:30 before the program started. What we gonna do? They've been working and working and working. You may have seen Lemonade Dream in the car. She was probably coming from an event on her way to this event. So I just want to say thank you. It's seen. Your efforts are seen. Parents, Kelly Ransom and Shanzira Fowler, special shout out to these two parents specifically, because they have been working to make sure that their young people can be a part of today's program and that their young people are part of the Inkwell's works as well. We had several readers today: Khalil Houston, who had to leave, and Steph Marie Cole, Janique McElveen. They were here and sharing from their hearts, right? They put their souls out here, and that's a courageous thing to do, a bold thing to do, a loving thing to do. It's an act of love. It's an act of love. So I hope that you could appreciate their love. And even the young ladies, Nazira, Naima, and Nazira, Naila. I get the order wrong, the order of age, but and Naima were present today, and they were able to share. Special guest, Jasera Glover Doolin, who gave her testimonial and a poem, okay? Let me stop teasing this here. A testimony and a poem. You got to hear from a mental health professional, practitioner, who's also a creative, who puts things in a perspective. It's not just something that feels good. There is science that backs that this is an impactful thing that we're trying to instill and provide for our young people. We want to give special thanks to our board member, Sister Joy, who you heard tonight, and Laura DeFranco, who wasn't able to make it tonight, but she's a part of our board. We have advisory board members as well. You saw and heard from Janique McElveen, who was here tonight, who's a part of our advisory board. Other members include Rashida, Ellen, and Patrick. Ellen, that special thanks. She was able to give a donation tonight as well. And we also want to give a special shout out to one of our founding board members, Hiram LaRue, who I think is doing some poetry in a different aspect tonight. He's rocking and rolling all the time, but he did not think it robbery to be the first person to make sure that there was something in our well as it relates to donating to this cause. Special shout out to them. And moreover, a special shout out to all of you who've, again, taken the time out to be here on a Sunday, shucking beans and hanging out with the sisters and brothers. I appreciate you so much. Listen, I mean it. I wish my words could translate into something tangible to help you to know how much I thoroughly appreciate your time and your ear tonight. And all those who've donated and all those who will donate, right? We appreciate
like this week, I was telling her, I sent her a picture that reminded me of a line in a poem that actually helped me not quit proton therapy last week, and this is a real conversation. So yeah, your pen is powerful, your story is powerful. If you all are okay, if everybody's okay with taking a couple more minutes to just give her space to use her voice, because she creates spaces for us to use ours, and so sometimes we have to give that back. So continue to give. We want the coins, but we're also going to give you back your space so that you can close us out. Because you have something powerful to say, and I'm not gonna miss the opportunity to hear you pouring to me when I got it right, Lemonade. We would be crazy to do that. So,
of course, we need to hear Miss Ann. It's mandatory.
It's mandatory. So drop a 1 in the chat if y'all are okay with that. If you have to leave, we understand and we respect that. But please drop a 1 in the chat. Let her know that it's okay, and we're gonna hand her the mic respectfully. I'm gonna remove our pens. Miss Cayenne, the mic is yours. I'm seeing 1, so go in, poet. Go in.
Okay, I'm going to be obedient to the majority. I was handing my time to Lemonade. I was content with that, but I definitely have no problem sharing. And Asha, I'm going to follow your lead because I had something else in mind, but I think I'm going to share. As she mentioned, there's a piece that she loves a lot to hear called Dear You. It's a letter, but I guess there's probably a subtitle to it called I Am Strong. And I'll share it because it was encouraging. It has proven to be encouraging to me because the letter was written. It was written to me. It was written to me first. And even as I hear it and say it, I'm often encouraged by it, but I often also hear others say to me, I needed that. And as she shared, it was something that came back to her mind during her process, which was very humbling. So I'll share that, okay? It's called Dear You. Dear You, you have no idea how strong you are. Your spine is made of plexi steel, agile, shock absorbing, never broken. I have never spoken of this strength before, not because it doesn't exist, but because you You've always closed the door to this belief. Your reality laden with grief, blinded by the insanity that your humanity was vanity. Life seemed to serve you up on styrofoam plates, warmed over leftovers and plastic cutlery. Fine china seemed imaginary, but tell me, what good is a fancy bowl if the contents is old? You have no idea how strong you are, how bold you are, how unlikely to fold you are. And while others drop and break like those china plates, you bend and lean. And if at first you don't succeed, you try and try and try again, stand up again and hope again. Your strength is strong like God's light on a Sunday morning. Incredibly, you keep rising like God's light on a Sunday morning. You have no idea how strong you are. Your legs are made of titanium, bionic like an alien, corrosion resistant, fully competent to stand even when you don't understand. Don't you get it? I'm your biggest fan. Not in an infatuated kind of way, but in an everything I made was good kind of way. See, it pains me every time you question your tenacity. The audacity of your doubt re-nails me to a cross of limitation. When will you walk out the liberation that I bled out for you in my crucifixion? When will you wear the liberty that I gave you in my resurrection? When will you learn that God is a mathematician? See, He's the teacher, the tutor, and the equation. Everything you need, you have, if you would just grasp. Stop bowing in obeisance to social media's meritocracy, but better yet, bend your knee at Calvary. Has anyone ever told you that your, has anyone ever told you that your spirit is irrepressible and your wins are non-refundable? Has anyone ever told you that your heart is made of unbreakable feathers, and though it weathers nearly unbearable measures, it keeps thumping and pumping and beating the charges held against it? I know that what I'm saying is true, because baby, God made you. He made you with the imported metal from the invisible kettle that the Big Dipper rested on. He made you from the periodic table's finest, creating elements just for you, defying gravity just for you. So when I tell you that your strength is strong, don't dismiss me and tell me that I'm wrong. But better yet, say it with me. Say it with me in the comments, in the chat. I am strong. I am strong. I am strong. I am strong. Thank you.
You mean to tell me we almost missed this? That we could have possibly not been allowed to hear this? That my ears almost weren't blessed like this?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope that it was an encouragement to each and every one of you. Whatever your belief is, at the end of the day, you are made strong. You are made strong. And I want to say again, thank you everyone who stayed a little longer. Thank you everyone who shared your voice. Thank you everyone who put a comment in the chat. Thank you everyone that gave a few dollars here, a few dollars there. Thank you everyone that just said, keep going, you can do it. That gave a hug, that gave a heart. Every bit of this matters. Every iota is important. So thank you. Thank you so much.